welcome students to another episode on grammar. The same topic, kinds of sentences, simple, complex and compound, shall be continued now. Today we are going to concentrate or focus on the transformation section. This is very important because, as I indicated earlier, each question carries 2 marks. So you would be asked to convert the sentences from one type into another, or you may be given 2 sentences and you may be asked to combine them either into a simple sentence or a complex sentence. They may also be combined as a compound sentence too. Now let us look at some examples and understand in detail how the transformation is carried out. Now this part, simple to complex. You are going to convert the simple sentence into a complex sentence. Now do you remember the rules that we discussed earlier? So as we do the transformation, we shall also check the rules. Now here, based on the rules, we carry out the transformation. Now tell me the time. How many finite verbs do you find here? Only one. And what is that? Tell. So this is a simple sentence. You are going to convert this into a complex sentence. Now what should you do for this conversion? You have to expand the part. Okay. So expand whatever remains incomplete. Now in this part, tell me is complete. Okay. You can retain it as your main clause. That is why I had explained what a main clause is and what a subordinate clause is. Now tell me could be retained as your main clause. Now this part, the time, should be expanded. How do you do it? Remember, I gave you a list of clues as clause markers. So you select any word from there. So tell me. Now what would be appropriate here? I would select the word what. So tell me what the time is. Now is it clear to you? Suppose it is an independent question, I would ask you what is the time. So there the structure is totally different. But here what do? I combine that with this part. Tell me what the time is. So this is incomplete and you get one finite verb over here, another finite verb over here, clause marker what. So tell me what the time is. Remember, shouldn't say what is the time. Tell me what the time is. This is a complex sentence. Now look at this part. Being tired, he took rest for an hour. So your finite verb is took, only finite verb. This is a simple sentence. When you convert this into a complex, as I told you earlier, a complex sentence should have only one main clause and it can have more than one subordinate clause. So here when you read the sentence, you find that this part, he took rest for an hour, that gives you complete sense. So you can retain it as your main clause. Now this part, being tired, that has to be expanded. You have to introduce a finite verb here because you got only be plus ing here. So look at the tense form, took. So the verb you introduce should be of the past tense. So what is the meaning of this being tired? It is he was tired. So introduce this clause marker. You can have since also. As or since he was tired, he took rest for an hour. So as I told you earlier, he took rest for an hour is your main clause. Why? Since he was tired or as he was tired, it is your subordinate clause. So one main clause and a subordinate clause, complex sentence. The hill is too steep to climb is your only finite verb. Now remember, whenever you have this to here, you could use the structure so that. We just considered this in the earlier class. So here, the hill, retain it as it is, the hill. Present tense, so same form of verb, the hill is. Now instead of the word to, bring in the word so. The hill is, then the adjective, so steep. Then introduce that here, that. Now the subject, you are free to use either the plural or the singular subject. The hill is so steep that I cannot climb it. Or you can also say we cannot climb it. Now here there are 2 essential points that you should note. Now this is of the present tense. So you should have cannot in your answer. Suppose you have was here, then you could use could not. Then look at this pronoun, you can use I or we. Then one more point you have to pay attention to is this. This pronoun is missing here. You do not have it in your simple form, but in your complex you have to include this. The hill is so steep that I cannot climb it or we cannot climb it. You can also rewrite it in the passive. The hill is so steep that it cannot be ascended or climbed. That it cannot be climbed. So, it is possible to rewrite this using the passive too. Understood? So, this is how you transform the simple into the complex. So, here you get only one finite verb. In your answer, you should have two finite verbs and you should introduce a clause marker and expand the sentence. Now, we will consider the other part, complex to simple. Now, having converted sentences from simple to complex, we shall discuss three sentences where we are going to rewrite the complex sentences as simple sentences. Now, look at the first one. My shadow follows me wherever I go. So, follows one finite verb, go another finite verb, wherever clause marker, wherever I go is your subordinate clause. Now, here you have got to remove the finite verb. Your answer should contain only one finite verb. So, I shall retain this part because it is very important. I cannot change it. So, we will have to first decide which part has to be changed. That is why I asked you to understand the main clause and the subordinate clause very clearly. So, my shadow follows me. Now, what do you mean by wherever I go? It is everywhere. So, just replace this with a single word everywhere. My shadow follows me everywhere. Wherever I go, you just give that meaning through this one word, single word, everywhere. So, now this is a simple sentence. You get only one finite verb which is follows. Look at sentence number 2. Though Ravi was ill, he managed to attend the session. So, though, even though, although in the complex, these are substituted or replaced by in spite of. So, in spite of his being ill or his illness. You can use a noun illness too here. In spite of his illness, Ravi managed to attend the session. So, illness is a noun, to attend is your non-finite verb and managed is your only finite verb. Understood? Managed is your only finite verb, 2 plus verb makes it a non-finite verb, to attend is a non-finite verb. Then look at this one. If you have any doubts, please contact the office. Have is one finite verb, contact is another finite verb. So, please contact the office is your main clause. If you have any doubts is your subordinate clause. So, you could replace it with these words, in case of doubts or any doubts. In case of doubts or in case of any doubts, please contact the office. Here doubts is only a noun. So, here also it is a noun, have was your verb, in case of doubts, please contact the office. You have only one finite verb which is contact. So, this is how you transform a complex sentence into a simple sentence. So, go through these examples carefully, they will be very helpful for you to do the textual exercises and later on to attend the examination. Now, the third type, you are going to convert simple sentences into compound sentence. Now, what did I tell you earlier? So, two main clauses or two simple sentences connected by a conjunction. Look at this sentence, on account of it being dark, I lost my way. On looking at this, you find that it is easy to retain this as one main clause. So, you are going to form another main clause from this part. You got a phrase, so remove it. So, if you remove it, you get it. Whenever you get being, be plus ing, you can replace it with is or was. Okay. So, it was dark, so I lost my way. So, what is the reason? On account of it being dark. So, you just bring out this meaning through these words, it was dark. So, what happened as a result? So, I lost my way. So, two main clauses connected by this conjunction. In spite of being mischievous, Babu is liked by everyone. What is the meaning of the sentence? This boy is mischievous. Still or but or yet he is liked by everyone. So, just bring out the meaning, expand the meaning, that is all. Explain it and you get the answer. Babu is mischievous still or yet he is liked by everyone. So, Babu is mischievous, main clause 1, he is liked by everyone, main clause 2, yet or still or but is your conjunction. After completing the assignment, I submitted the paper to my teacher. So, verb plus ing non-finite. So, submitted is the only finite verb. So, what is the meaning here? I finished the assignment, I submitted my paper. So, that is all. So, what do you write here? I completed the assignment and submitted the paper to my teacher. So, I completed the assignment, main clause 1, I submitted the paper to my teacher, main clause 2, and is your conjunction. So, go through all these carefully and you will understand the difference and the method in which you should transform the sentences. Now, look at these sentences. You are going to convert compound sentences into simple sentences. Now, Simon is not only a poet, but also a novelist. So, not only, but also. So, when you get this structure, you replace it with besides. So, besides, I have already told you whenever you get is or was, now you can change it into be plus ing. If it is be plus ing, you are going to use is or was. If you get is or was, you replace it with be plus ing. Besides being a poet, comma, Simon is also a novelist. Now, look at this part. It might rain, so take an umbrella. In case of it raining, take an umbrella. Or in case of rains. So, there rains is a noun. If you say in case it rains, rains will become a verb. But if you say in case of rains, rains will become a noun. Now, Salim completed the project successfully and applied for a patent. So, having completed the project successfully, Salim applied for a patent. So, applied is your only finite verb, simple sentence. This is have plus ing and this is completed past participle, non-finite form. So, applied is your only finite verb. So, this is a simple sentence. So, just go through these once again and see how the transformation has been done. Now, we have a set of complex sentences which we are going to convert into the compound. Now, look at this sentence. If you fail in the first attempt, try again. Now, if it has not already happened, so you might fail in the first attempt and then and in that case try again. Okay. You can say and then and in that case try again. You might fail in the first attempt and then try again and in that case try again. So, you find two main clauses and this is your conjunction. We are converting it into the compound sentence. As the door was closed. So, what happened here? The door was closed. So, the result, he could not deliver the parcel. So, or therefore, he could not deliver the parcel. Now, look at this sentence. Though Naveen is intelligent, he is not very popular in his workplace. Whenever you get though in the complex, you use but or yet or still in the compound. So, Naveen is intelligent, but or yet or still he is not popular in his workplace. So, did you understand the structure properly? If you fail in the first attempt, clause marker if, this is your subordinate clause, try again is your main clause. Here you might fail in the first attempt one main clause, try again another main clause, and then, or in that case, your conjunction. As the door was closed, subordinate clause, he could not deliver the parcel, main clause. The door was closed, main clause 1, so or therefore he could not deliver the parcel. So, he could not deliver the parcel is your main clause 2, so or therefore is your conjunction. Though Naveen is intelligent, subordinate clause, he is not very popular in his workplace, main clause. Naveen is intelligent, main clause 1, he is not popular in his workplace, main clause 2, but or yet or still is your conjunction. So, complex sentences have been converted into the compound sentences. So, this is how you do the transformation. Now, we move on to the last section of the transformation, compound to complex. Now, work hard, otherwise or else you will not score high. Work hard one main clause, you will not score high another main clause, or else otherwise conjunction. So, here it is almost like a condition. So, what is the meaning? If you do not work hard, you will not score high. That is your answer. Or unless you work hard, you will not score high. I will write both the answers here. This is answer A. Unless you work hard, you will not score high. This is answer B. So, you will not score high is the main clause. If you do not work hard, incomplete, proper complete meaning is not obtained. So, subordinate clause, you will not score high main clause. When? Unless you work hard. So, when will you reap success? Only if you work hard. So, unless you work hard, incomplete does not give you complete sense. So, that is your subordinate clause. That is what is required, one main clause and a subordinate clause. The questions were difficult, so I could not complete the paper. This gives you the reason. So, as or since the questions were difficult. As or since the questions were difficult, I could not complete the paper. Mind you, in your error spotting 1 mark question, they would give it you in this way. As the questions were difficult, so I could not complete the paper. So, you must find out what type of sentence is this is, and eliminate that so. So, as the questions were difficult, I could not complete the paper, or the questions were difficult, so I could not complete the paper. That is how you would write it there under the error spotting section. Now, Shekhar locked all the doors and left the office. So, a sequence of events here. So, after he had locked all the doors, comma, Shekhar left the office. So, after he had locked all the doors, Shekhar left the office. Shekhar left the office main clause, when? After he had locked all the doors, subordinate clause. Here also, I could not complete the paper main clause. Why? As or since the questions were difficult, subordinate clause. So, remember the rules, children, and apply them properly. Here is a table that will help you to do the transformation in a very easy manner. Now, look at these words. I have already given you these phrases under clues to a simple sentence, on account of, in case of, owing to, due to. Now, let us consider a sentence here. Now, it depends now in certain cases. Now, in case of fire, call this number. So, you can include another word here. You can say, when there is a fire. When there is a fire, call this number. When there is a fire, call this number. and so therefore and there might be a fire and call this number. So, this may not be applicable 100%, but these are some clues to help you do the transformation easily. Suppose I take owing to a bandh, buses did not ply. Did not ply is were not functioning. So, as there was a bandh, buses did not ply. So, here so therefore, there was a bandh. So, or and or therefore, buses did not ply. So, this is how you reason out and make the transformation. Now, look at this sentence, after plus verb plus ing. After locking all the doors, he left the office. Here, after he had locked all the doors, he left the office. Compound, he locked all the doors and then left the office. Now, in spite of, I have already given you an example. In spite of bad weather, the match continued. Simple sentence. Though the weather was bad, the match continued. Although the weather was bad, the match continued. Even though the weather was bad, the match continued. Here, the weather was bad, but the match continued. The weather was bad, yet the match continued. The weather was bad, still the match continued. Here, in the event of. In the event of, I think I gave you the sentence under the example. In the event of you are not paying the fee, you will not be allowed to sit for the examination. So, if you do not pay the fee, you will not be allowed to sit for the examination. So, this is negative. If you do not, so use otherwise. You should pay the fee, otherwise you will not be allowed to sit for the examination. Then, if you work hard, you will pass. Work hard and you will pass. Okay. In the event of you were working hard, you will pass. So, simple, complex and compound. Using these terms and clues, you should be able to transform the sentences very easily and very effectively. So, please learn all these and I will give you more sample sentences. Now, 2 mark questions. I have told you that you will be tested in 2 different types. One is combining the sentences either into the simple form or into the complex form or into the compound form. The other one is transforming. Now, I will give you some questions on this basis. The weather was bad, the match continued. Combine into a complex sentence. Now, what should you have essentially in a complex sentence? One main clause and a subordinate clause. The weather was bad, the match continued. So, normally if the weather is bad, the match will not continue. But here it continued. So, you use the term though. Though or although or even though, what happened? The weather was bad, comma, the match continued. Now, you will be able to identify the main clause here, the match continued. So, incomplete part, subordinate clause, though or although or even though the weather was bad. Now, look at this sentence, work with passion, you will succeed. Combine into a simple sentence. So, it is like a bit of advice to you, work with passion, you will succeed. So, simple sentence, only one finite verb, in the event of you were working with passion, comma, you will succeed. So, will succeed is your finite verb. In the event of phrase, verb plus ing non-finite. In the event of you were working with passion, you will succeed. So, we converted it into a simple sentence, combine into a simple sentence. Now, learn to overcome obstacles, you will shine in your life. So, 2 main clauses connected by a conjunction. Learn to overcome obstacles and you will shine in life. Learn to overcome obstacles and you will shine in life. So this is a compound sentence. Learn to overcome obstacles, main clause 1, you will shine in life, main clause 2. Now shall we see how we could convert this into the other two types? Now if I am going to change it into a compound sentence, how will I write? The weather was bad, but or yet or still the match continued. Do you get my point? The weather was bad. Normally if the weather is bad, you stop the match. But here the weather was bad, but or yet or still the match continued. Now look at this sentence. Work with passion, you will succeed. We've already written it as a simple sentence. Into complex, how will you write it? If you work with passion, you will succeed. That is your complex sentence. If you work with passion, you will succeed. Complex. Now compound, work with passion and you will succeed. Okay? Work with passion and you will succeed. Now look at this sentence. Learn to overcome obstacles, you will shine in your life. So we've written it as a compound sentence. So simple sentence, in the event of learning to overcome obstacles, I repeat, in the event of learning, verb plus ing, to overcome, to infinitive, obstacles, comma, you will shine in your life. Will shine is your finite verb, it is a simple sentence. Then complex, if you learn to overcome obstacles in your life, if you learn to overcome obstacles, you will shine in your life. Or if you learn to overcome obstacles in your life, you will shine. So that is your complex sentence. So any sentence, you could rewrite it into the other two forms. Once again, like a game, you could try these. Now, as a concluding part, I shall give you 5 sentences and you rewrite them accordingly as per the instructions. Now this carries 2 marks. Each question carries 2 marks. I'll just ask you to transform it into the other types. Now look at these sentences. If you are not careful, you will fall. Rewrite as a compound sentence. So if you are not careful, so what does it indicate? It gives me a warning. Be careful or you will fall. Be careful, otherwise you will fall. Be careful or you will fall. I have rewritten it as a compound sentence. Be careful, one main clause. You will fall, another main clause, or is your conjunction. Experience teaches you to face challenges. So into complex. So I'll retain the first part as it is. Experience teaches you how you could face challenges. So this is a bit tricky. You must be very careful while you answer it. Normally the temptation is to write experience teaches you how to face challenges. Again, to face will be a to infinitive. You will not get another finite verb. But here experience teaches you how you could face challenges. So could face is a finite verb. Teaches another finite verb. Experience teaches you, main clause. How you could face challenges, subordinate clause. Exercises we've done and you will be able to understand the transformation very clearly. I wish you all the very best. We will deal with more sentences and more exercises in the forthcoming sessions.